Welcome back. Let's talk about the topic of formatted strings. Up until now, we've just written simple strings. But we want a program that's dynamic, that's static. Let's say we have a Amazon page. And we're working at Amazon, actually. And when a user logs into their profile, well, we want to display their name or what they have in the cart. In that case, we don't want to just hard code and write every single user's name, like Andre, or another user, Joe, and write every single name in the world. No, ideally, what we can do is have something dynamic, where let's say it's a profile page and we simply use the name variable and we display that on the page. Now, this name variable should equal whatever the user's name is. And this is something that we can grab from the database, again, something that we'll talk later on in the course. But let's assume that in here, when we do equals, we're going to grab some user information, which will be the name. And this name, for now, will be John. Or let's go Johnny. And this Johnny, we want to display on the profile page. And we can do that with formatted strings. We can simply do something like print and then say name. But we also want to greet that person, right? So let's do hi and then plus name. And remember to add a space. If I click run, I get hi Johnny. But as we get more and more information, let's say we have age and Johnny is 55. If I wanted to extend the sentence and I want to say you are, and then add another plus, make sure we add a space in here, and then add year old. Run here. All right, we get a type error. Must be string, not int. Oh boy. All right, so we have to convert this into a string. So remember, we can do that like this. And then if I click run, hi Johnny, you are 55 years old, or years old. All right, that was a little cumbersome. But we're making our Amazon page dynamic. We can grab different information from the database and we'll have in a string something according to the user. But there's a better way of doing this. And with formatted strings, all we need to do is add an F at the beginning. And this F at the beginning is going to tell Python, hey, this is going to be a formatted string. And instead of doing all this plus and name and all this stuff, and doing the str to convert the type, we can simply do something like this. Let's remove this and simply do brackets and say name. And then again, remove all of this and say age. So I'm going to say hi, name, you are age years old. And if I click run here, you see that it still works. This is a new feature of Python 3. By adding F to the beginning, it's saying, hey, this is going to be a formatted string. And I want you to just make these variables available as strings inside of, well, this string. How much cleaner is that? Now, although this is nice and clean, and this is my preferred way of writing strings, before Python 3, you didn't really have this. So in Python 2, and mind you, this works in Python 3 as well, as you can see, we had something different to accomplish this. What we had was this idea of a dot format. And dot format, so let's remove the F here, is going to do the same thing for us. We do a bracket here, and then we say, hey, we want Johnny and age of 55. And we can just remove these variable names. If I click run here, I get an error. And you have to be careful here. Dot format works on strings, But you can see over here that we did it outside of the brackets. And what it's doing is saying, hey, run the format action on this print. But print is not really a string, right? So you have to make sure that we move the brackets to the outside so that we evaluate this piece of code first. So the string is going to get formatted, and then we're going to print. If I run this, hi Johnny, you are 55 years old. So that works the same way. But what if we wanted to use variables? Because right now we're just doing this by order. So whatever comes first gets filled in first in the brackets. Well, we can do something like name and age. Let's see, can we do that? Let's run. There you go. That works the same way. What if we had a specific order? Maybe we want this to be age and here to be name. Well, we can mix those around. We can say 1 here and 0 here. Because in computer science, we always start counting from 0. So this is 0 and this is 1. If we had something else in here, let's say a third variable, then this will be 2. So if I click run here, all right, everything is upside down. Finally, I can just create my own variables if I wanted to. So let's say hi, let's say new name equals Sally. And then age of Sally is going to equal, let's say 100. Sally is very old. Now, if I do 0, let's say I'm 1 here, if I click run. So now we'll actually get an error, tuple index out of range. Now we haven't really learned about tuples and ranges, and this is a little confusing, but a bit of a trick here. We want to make sure that we add now, because we've given the actual variable a value, we need to actually say new name here. And here will be age. So that if I click run, there you go. Hi Sally, you are 100 years old. As you can see, with dot format, things are a little bit more complicated. You'll still see this, and all Python 2 code still uses the dot format. And you'll see a lot of Python 3 code bases that still use dot format because some people prefer it. But I would argue that the F at the beginning of a formatted string is the way to go because, well, it just makes things so much easier, right? Nice and clean, nice and easy. So I do recommend that you use the formatted string with the F in front. And for short, we usually call this an F string.